Hello and welcome to LifeClub presented to you by Tieke. Through LifeClub, we work with young learners like you in nurturing your career and character, the two most important aspects of your life. This Saturday evening, we are excited to go live and share with you how to show empathy like Satya Nadella. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a moment and do it right now so that when we go live every Saturday evening, you will be notified. And when we share a life lesson in our YouTube channel, you will get an alert. So please take a moment and subscribe to our channel right now. Empathy as a word has a history of just about 140 years. In the year 1873, a German philosopher was the first one to use the word empathy to explain how we feel into. As human beings, we love to give our own advice that comes from our own experience. We want to explain our feelings. Empathy calls upon us to empty our mind and listen to others, and with our whole being, we need to listen to others. We can show empathy by being more aware. To understand others, we need to pay very close attention to their body language. Sometimes we do understand the feeling of others, but are not aware of how to communicate our thoughts and our feelings. I believe the best way to develop our empathetic skills is to treat others the way we would like to be treated. And this teaching process need to start when someone is very young. In LifeClub this Saturday evening, let's learn how to show empathy looking into the life of Satya Nadella. Now, who is Satya Nadella? Satya Nadella is an Indian-born American business executive. He is currently the chairman and CEO of Microsoft, a company that was started by Bill Gates. Microsoft is into the computing world in a very big way, and each one of us have definitely experienced a product of Microsoft when we use a computer. Microsoft's cloud and enterprise group, responsible for building the company's computing platforms, is what Satya Nadella was heading initially. He was born in Hyderabad, present day, it's called Telangana, into a Telugu speaking family. His mother, Prabhavati, was a Sanskrit lecturer, and his father, Nadella Yuganda, was an IAS officer. Satya Nadella attended school in Hyderabad before receiving a bachelor's in electronics engineering from Manipal Institute of Technology in Karnataka. Nadella then traveled to US to study MS in computer science, and later he received an MBA from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business in 1997. At Microsoft, Satya Nadella has led major projects that includes the company's move to cloud computing, a very advanced technology that they use today, and the development of one of the largest cloud infrastructures in the world. Satya Nadella worked as the Senior Vice President of Research and Development for the Online Services Division and Vice President of the Microsoft Business Division. Later, he was made the President of Microsoft $19 billion huge server and tools business, and led a transformation of the company's business and the technology culture from client services to cloud infrastructure and related services. He's been credited for helping to bring Microsoft database, Windows Server, and developer tools to its cloud platform called Azure. The revenue for cloud services grew to $20.3 billion in June 2013 from just $16.6 billion when he took charge in 2011. Satya Nadella is a very important technology leader in the world today, leading Microsoft. Now, he had a very normal beginning as a student from India who went on to study in the US and then moved into a US business corporate. And he is today one of the world's most important and also a very inspiring technology leader for people across the world. Nadella also took a risk in Microsoft by making empathy the centerpiece of his initiative. It risked being seen as a very fuzzy, feel-good, emotional personality that he was displaying at work. Satya Nadella's personal philosophy was to connect new ideas with empathy for other people to benefit from it. Ideas excite me. He wrote in a book called Hit Refresh in 2017. Empathy grounds and centers me. Satya Nadella in his book wrote, empathy grounds and centers me. A personal philosophy is one thing, but business strategy is generally seen as something to do with hard calculation of business numbers. It's about making profits. Yet, Satya Nadella made empathy central to Microsoft business strategy. If a world technology leader who runs Microsoft today can give so much of importance to showing empathy and keeping empathy as a center of his business, and if he can go on to say that empathy grounds and it kind of centers him, what is empathy all about? It is very important that we learn it very, very quickly today. Empathy is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another person or an animal or a fictional character. Developing empathy is crucial for establishing relationships and behaving compassionately with others. It involves experiencing another person's point of view rather than just our own point of view. It enables pro-social or helping behavior that comes from within rather than being forced. Empathy helps us cooperate with others, build friendships, make moral decisions, and intervene when we see others being bullied or troubled. Humans begin to show empathy or signs of empathy at a very early stage in their life, and the trait develops steadily through childhood and adolescence. Still, most people are likely to feel great empathy for people like themselves and may feel less empathy for people outside their family or their community or ethnicity or race. Now, empathy is about putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes and feeling and understanding what they are going through in simple words. Now, let's look at empathy in different phases of our life or parts of our life. Now, to start with, empathy in personal life. Healthy relationships require us to care and understand the person we are in relationship with. A friendship or any other relationship that lacks empathy and understanding will soon falter. When people only think of their own interests, the other person in that relationship will only suffer. No two people are ever going to think exactly the same, and no two people are going to have the same kind of experiences in their life. Different people in a relationship bring their own ideas, life experiences, struggles. Without taking the time to relate to one another's feelings and perspectives, people in relationships or friendships will likely feel uncared for. Now, in the school life that you are presently in, or in the campus life that you are presently in, for many people, a place like a school or a college is a place for teamwork. For things that require a group effort, it is extremely important to take the time to relate to other people in the team. Even if they are not specifically studying or working on the same project as you are, it is still important to get along with everyone well. Using empathy is a vital part of a smooth relationship. Without it, it's much easier to fall into disputes and disagreements in a team. It's also highly important for teachers and school leaders or institution leaders to use empathy. Teachers who lack empathy are likely to subject their students to unfair practices at times. School leaders who are without empathy may push students to work beyond what is healthy and reasonable, or maybe unduly harsh when a student is making a mistake, not just in the personal or our campus life. In a global perspective, empathy is infinitely important, especially when it leads someone to be compassionate to others. The type of empathy that pushes people to dive in and help when there are major disaster is something that we all commonly see these days. People are willing to help out others that they have never met because they know that they too would need help if things go wrong their side. Without compassionate empathy, the world would be definitely a much darker and a less functional place to live. Now, that's empathy in different scenarios. Now, why is showing empathy generally difficult? It is not easy to be empathetic towards others. While we can look at these qualities in leaders like Satya Nadella, when we try and practice it, it is not easy. What are the reasons why showing empathy is difficult? Feeling threatened. When we often feel threatened based on our own fears and projection about our future, and looking into our past experiences, not by what is actually happening in the moment or in a particular relationship at that point of time or situation, you may feel threatened. Whether the threat is real or imagined, when we feel threatened in any way, it often shuts down our ability to experience empathy. Secondly, when you are judgmental, you decide that you are always right and someone else is wrong. Doing this hurts us and others, and it cuts us off from those around us. When we are being judgmental about another person or a group of people or a situation, we significantly diminish our capacity to be empathetic. Thirdly, fear is another reason why it is not easy to be empathetic to others. There's nothing inherently wrong with fear. It is just a natural human emotion. It has its own positive aspects at times. Fear at times saves our lives and it keeps us out of trouble all the time. The issue with fear is our denial of it. We deem things, people, or situations to be scary, when in truth, there is nothing in life that is inherently scary. When we allow ourselves to be motivated by fear, which often leads to us defending ourselves against threats, being judgmental, and more, it becomes difficult, or at times it becomes impossible to access the power of empathy. Now, fear, being judgmental, and feeling threatened could lead to you not being able to show empathy to others. Now, these are things that we need to keep in check to be an empathetic human being. Now, in such a scenario, how can I be empathetic to others is the next big question in your mind. Today, I'm going to give you a few ways in which you can show empathy. First and foremost, listen. Listening is one of the most effective ways you can demonstrate empathy to other people. When you are practicing active listening, you are listening with purpose. Active listening requires three aspects. Number one, summarize what the person said to you to show that you understood the content. Secondly, reflect back your emotional reaction to what the other person shared with you. Reflecting back your emotion is a key part of empathy because it helps the person better understand and regulate their own emotion. Thirdly, indicate how your response makes you, sort of want to uh, give in response to the person who has shared a feeling with you. Expressing your behavior is another key element, because again, you are demonstrating that you understand their emotional state and helping them figure out a behavior to move forward with by sharing your response to the problem or the feeling that they shared. So listen. Secondly, don't judge. This is important because when practicing empathy and when practicing mindfulness, being judgmental could stand in between a person showing empathy to others. It can be really hard to withhold immediate judgment, especially when we first meet or interact with someone. And yet, this is a crucial step towards being empathetic. Try to gain a deeper understanding of someone else's perspective without immediately saying that it is bad or good. In this way, you are able to get to a deeper level of understanding. This does not necessarily mean that the other person is right or good, but taking the time to gain a deeper perspective will help you in developing empathy towards others. Thirdly, open up. Just listening to someone isn't going to build a bridge between the two of you. Opening up emotionally is an incredibly difficult and a brave thing to do, but it will deepen the connection you have with the other person. Empathy is a two-way street. It's about sharing vulnerabilities and emotional connection. To truly practice empathy, you have to share your inner landscape with someone so that they also sort of understand the same situation that you are into. This doesn't mean that you have to go and open up your life story to every person you meet. You have to decide who you're going to share yourself with. It could be a very good friend, or it could be your parents, or it could be your nice elder cousin. Choose a person you want to open up with, but do open up. When you open up, you give the other person the opportunity of understanding you better. But to practice empathy, you have to open to the possibility and the understanding or the opportunity of opening up, especially with people you least expect at times. Fourthly, offering help. Offering help is a great act of empathy because it shows that you are willing to take time out of your day to do something for someone else without asking anything in return from them. Offering help can be as simple as holding the door for a person when they are trying to enter a room in a building. It can be as big as helping your grandfather or a grandmother set up his or her computer and talking to them through how the computer works. While they might find it very, very difficult to understand, you just sit and spend that time to help them understand it. Even just offering the opportunity to help can be an empathetic gesture. Tell a friend that if they need anything, they can ask you, opening up the way for providing help and support to them when they are in need. Finally, treat people as being important. Start treating people as if they have as much importance as you do. Recognize that you are not the only one living person in this world and that you are not a superior being, whatever position that you are in. Take each person as they come. Don't lump them with some sort of stereotypes like they belong to this group or a community and this is how they would be. Each person is an individual and they come with a set of flaws and strengths. Many famous people have talked about the importance and understanding empathy. Albert Einstein said peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Former President of the United States, Barack Obama, has said this. The biggest deficit that we have in our society and in the world right now is empathy deficit. We are in great need of people being able to stand in somebody else's shoes and see the world through their eyes. Empathy is important and it is developed well when you are young. Well, that's all we have for this evening. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I would like to remind you again to subscribe to it right now, so that when we go live every Saturday evening, you will get a notification. When we upload a live lesson in our YouTube channel, you will get an alert too. Thank you for joining us. We wish you have a great weekend and a great week ahead.